Hello, Avery. I'm looking at your paper two here. Okay. During my research, and thank you so much for your patience. During my research, I interviewed one person and did research on two different articles by people working in my field. I found solid evidence that the interview and the articles I read showed knowledgeable subjects knowing what they do and doing it very well. The interview and the article showed. I like your idea there, but I feel like I could maybe clean that up a little so it's a little bit clearer. The interview in the article showed subjects because the articles don't have. Okay, it doesn't matter. I think that could be a little cleaner. The first interview I did was with a family friend who graduated with a marketing degree and ended up doing planning for a company located in Kansas City called Jack's Dive Barbecue. Yes, I know of it. This interview was very eye-opening, and I found out a lot that I did not know previously. This was an important interview because what she does is something I envision myself doing, and through articles. And although articles and things like that can be cool to research, I think talking over the phone to somebody who is in the exact workplace you hope to be someday is an amazing thing. I just feel like maybe there are too many words there. I liked how specific she was with her answers, although you're absolutely right. I overall liked how specific she was with her answers, and she was really interested in helping me and wasn't just trying to get the interview over with. I asked her important questions and questions I've been curious about. I'm glad she was so helpful, and she is very interested in helping me down the road. So, what'd you find out? One of the main points she was trying to explain to me was that a lot of people are unclear of. Yeah, you have a little thing under there, I think, because we usually say people are unclear about what an event planner is supposed to do with their career and how they help and their top priorities. Many people overlook the duties of their job and was explaining. Wait, what? Yeah, you'll fix that. A lot more work than expected. She explained her job in depth and said, so there it might be smoother if you just want to say she explained her job in depth, then you can do the colon, the two dots, because two dots set us up to have a list or to like give an example of what we're talking about. So she explained her job in depth, colon. Event planning is creative. I don't know, I like the colon, and I think that might be smoother. Event planning is creative. You have to have passion and vision on what you're planning and making sure. Wait, what? You have to have passion and vision and making sure every detail is included as well as what the client envisioned is displayed throughout the entire event. You can't leave anything out. So there's a couple of ideas there. It's creative. You have to have passion and vision. You have to have attention to detail. You have to include what the client wants. You have to do these things through the whole event. I would love to split that up and have you discuss each one of those things separately because there's a lot of meaty stuff there that I want to know more about. I asked her, what do event planners focus on? She, I think even replied with, we make sure that customer is satisfied with their event. There are so many details that need to be included, and you need to make sure to include everything to satisfy the customer. Those were the main topics about the event planning industry, and I was very interested in the road it took her to get her where she is right now. Okay, so looking back on that, after I have heard the quotes from her, I am so curious about wanting to know like examples of how this actually happens. If it's creative and you have to have passion, maybe you're going to get into this, but like, how does she do those things? Because I mean, these are things I could just kind of like pretend to know. I'd just be like, well, I bet you have to have passion and vision. But you're not getting into things that really only she could share with you. And yeah, when you talk about what do they focus on, just even the word focus makes me feel like we should look at one thing and then another thing, right? Because I want to know about all those things. But nice transition. Those were topics. I was interested in the road it took her to get where she is right now. Nice transition. Anna Schlepp graduated from the University of Missouri. Boo. With a degree in marketing and business administration. At first, Anna wanted to go into the field of marketing, but wasn't completely sure what she wanted to do with her degree, so she searched and searched for different jobs and ultimately came across event planning. This was something she never envisioned herself doing, but when she researched and talked to companies, what companies, I wonder, she knew it was the perfect fit for her. She wasn't sure how it would go, but said she couldn't see herself doing anything else in life and loves her job very much. She said The road was challenging. Oh, good. I was about to be like, what does she love? And hard to get to where she is. Oh, no, you weren't explaining that. Maybe you will later. It was challenging and hard to get to where she is, and she had to do a job she didn't love, but they only made her stronger and more passionate about her profession. She is currently working. Sorry, I need to drink water. At Jack's Stack Barbecue, located in Kansas City. She said it took many hurdles and obstacles to land this job. I think you already said that. But said it's all she ever could have asked for. I feel like you already said that too. She talks about the job and skills required to do the job. She plans events for the corporate office. Well, what are the skills? She plans events for the corporate offices and plans their parties, fundraisers, galas, and many other events. She said it takes a lot of creativity and nitpicky ideas to make what she does good. Maybe nitpicky, like nature or being detail oriented. Okay, I am dying to know after that paragraph. I feel like you gave me more like vague ideas about this, but like, where has Jack Stack thrown some of their parties? Like, have they rented out Union Station? Have they rented out the Nelson? Have they, what themes did they use? Or do they want them to be formal or informal? I mean, all of those kinds of details of what it's actually like for her to do this work, I'm so curious about. The next resource I used was a blog titled Endless Events. This is a blog that I followed for years. Oh, I think you need a new sentence there. Endless Events, period. This is a blog I followed for years and have subscribed to for many years. Cool. Seems like you've known what track you wanted to be on. That's good. The information and details they put out weekly have been helpful for looking more into the career and information and details they put out weekly have been helpful for looking and seeing. So that's what makes me kind of stumble over that as a reader, is that when you say looking for the first one, you want to have everything in the list be in that same form. So it's been helpful for looking, it's been helpful for seeing, it's been helpful for doing, right? However many words you wanted. Okay. I've been very curious what their lives are like and what it takes to be a top-tier event planner with a lot of experience. This blog shows many aspects of the event planning industry and follows the lives of many of them. This feels like a new paragraph. This company started by working for a DJ. What? And planning an event for him. Oh, okay. I didn't know that could happen. He then started to realize he could turn them into a company traveling the world and setting up parties and events for many different types of people. They started off doing school dances and it exploded, becoming one of the top event planning companies in America. Now I really want to know, again, details, like where did they start doing this that they exploded around the world? What kind of school dances? What were some of their early successful themes or parties, or what made them special? Okay, they started small and jumped high in a short amount of time, which is very cool to see considering that is something I dream about. Sure. The patterns in this blog range from a small company. Patterns range from a company starting to becoming bigger. That's not a pattern. Okay, maybe you're going to explain that later, though. Okay, at first, nobody knew what they wanted to do with this. With what? But then shifting and picking up gigs at places all around the world, and this happened quickly and efficiently. How did it happen? The members of this field focus on making sure they are meeting the customer's needs, and that is stressed so much. If the customer isn't satisfied, you shouldn't be either. Okay, that sounds like we're getting into maybe a detail of their success or what they focus on. It is all about meeting the customer's needs and goals in the line of work. Throughout the blog, they suggest ways and organizational tactics to help with making sure you don't leave anything out when you're planning an event for somebody. So let's see. A lot of this, you told the history of the company, but I didn't really learn anything about it except that they started by working with a DJ. And I'd like to learn about it. How did this really happen? To tell the story of it, to give examples. Because all I got from this section was that they started working with a DJ and it was small and it got bigger, which is the story of, that's such a general story. I'm left wanting so much more. Okay, this line of work tends to be overlooked because when you're at an event like this, you're mainly talking to the owner of the event. You mean the client? And saying how great it looks, but nobody ever knows who actually was doing the work and who put all their time into making it look amazing. So you mean like people don't see the party planner? They just see the like caterers and the DJ and the bartenders? Maybe that's what you mean? You're gone and off to your, and you, is that the party planner? Gone off to your own things after you put the event together, that there is no time to be credited from others. Is the party planner usually not at the party? I don't know. That seems kind of scary, though, to just let the party happen without you being around to kind of check up on it. But I don't know. A lot of people don't know about this field. What it takes and the hard work that goes into it. I didn't. I had no idea about any of this until I was researching different jobs online one day and came across this blog that had all the answers to my questions. One thing you are doing well is you have a variety of different kinds of sentence structures. And also, you aren't afraid to use a short sentence here and there, which is great because a lot of people are so nervous about using a short sentence that it's not going to sound fancy that they're afraid to use it. And you're not, which is really good. The patterns suggest that the history of my field is not common. History is not common? You mean it isn't known, or it isn't? I'm not sure what that means. That is what I have gathered from a lot of my research, that this field is not a very common one. I think maybe you mean a well-known one, maybe? And you don't hear about it too often. This is why I think a company like Endless Events, is that capitalized? Blew up so big and fast was because not a lot of people were familiar with this concept, and when people were finding out everybody wanted to hire this company to plan their events, they were the only party planning company like in the world. Again, I know nothing about this, so maybe they were. And I don't know what years this is happening either. That would be very useful. Like, they began their company in 1960, or they create their company in 2015. Again, you can see I know nothing about this, which is what can make reading these papers interesting and also a little challenging. But I know you know. I think the effect this industry has in the world is big, but getting bigger with time as more people are figuring out about these different companies. The people that work as event planners are wanting to help others and take the stress away from them during these major events. They want the best and want to help in the best way possible. They also do it for the customers, not themselves. They want the customer to be happy in the end. More stuff that's kind of general. I feel like you could say any of that stuff about, you could say it about teachers if you just swap out customers and into students. Something more specific about how this field is different. The field no values and how they perceive the world are heavily based on their customers' wants and needs. Yes. They stress the importance of putting the customer first and the focus of this industry about them. Good. The last article I researched was an article called Value of Event Planning. I think you need a period there. Melanie Woodward states, I think you need quotation marks. There's something in the business called a value proposition, which is the way you communicate the benefits of doing business with your customer base. Oh, now we're getting to something interesting and detailed. She said this is something, I don't know where the quote ended, but she says that this is something that is stressed heavily in the field of work and can be tough when customers don't appreciate the work you put in. When you are looking to communicate with a value proposition, there are 4 important questions you need to ask yourself. Okay, what is a value proposition again? The way you communicate the benefits of doing business. Okay. Why is my event planning better than the competition? This is your differential. What do I bring to the table that adds value to my customer events? I'm wondering now if, are these the exact questions that they put there? Because if they are, they need to be in quotes. According to Woodward, and you probably want to use the exact language they use for something like this. According to Woodward, there are essential questions to ask yourself about the field. Woodward owns her own event planning company called Event Planning Blueprint. She started with this company with nothing and turned it into a major company. She went from planning meetings from around 30 people to festivals for around 30,000 people in a short window. What's a short window? I have no idea. She gets to travel across the world and do something she is very passionate about. And again, another place where I'm like, what were the meetings for 30 people? Yeah, something about how she did that, or I want details. Melanie states she likes the focus on the good rather than the bad. She explains that there are negative customers who are snotty and rude, but the majority are customers she loves to work with on a daily basis, so she can't focus on the negative ones because that will bring your energy down. You need that energy. I know that's true. Overall, I came across good research. They all taught me something new about this line of work and where I can envision myself in the future. I'm so thankful I got to talk to somebody and ask all the questions. I'm so thankful I got to expand my knowledge. Let me check on your works cited. That looks pretty good. Not going into a ton of detail and checking all your details on that, but so overall, almost out of time. Some more details and some places that I pointed out to you that I hope you can make things clearer.